Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Nature channel. Did you know that elephants can hear each other's hearts? Not just their voices, from miles away. Beneath the quiet savanna, beneath the soft red dust and the slow-moving grasses, there is a conversation happening that no human ear can catch. Elephants speak in rumbles so deep they travel through the earth itself, felt more than heard, like the memory of a sound. Tonight, we're going to follow that quiet conversation through golden plains, through the cool shade of acacia trees, through the gentle hours of dusk, and let it carry you somewhere very still and very peaceful. So, take a slow breath in, let your shoulders settle, and let the world grow soft around you. Somewhere on a wide, golden plain where the grasses grow tall enough to brush the belly of a young elephant, the morning begins without noise. Not really. There is always sound here, but it is the kind of sound that feels like silence. A low, steady hum beneath the earth, a vibration that moves through soil and root and stone, the way warmth moves through a blanket on a cool night. You wouldn't hear it if you stood there barefoot, but you might feel it, a faint trembling, a presence. That is an elephant speaking. Elephants produce what scientists call infrasound, sounds with frequencies so low, below 20 hertz, that they fall beneath the range of human hearing entirely. These are not whispers. They are enormous rolling calls that can travel for miles and miles across open land. And yet, to us, they are perfectly silent. The elephant stands in the golden morning light, her great sides rising and falling with each breath, and she is speaking to someone we cannot see. The herd is spread across a wide area this morning. Some are near a waterhole a kilometer away. Some are resting beneath a cluster of acacia trees, their rough gray skin dappled with early shadow. They are not looking at each other. And yet, they are together, listening, responding, in a language made not of words, but of feeling, of low vibration, of something older than language itself. When an elephant makes an infrasound call, the sound doesn't only travel through the air, it travels through the ground. This is called seismic communication, the sending of signals through the earth itself. Other elephants receive these vibrations not just through their ears, but through the soft, sensitive pads of their feet. Imagine feeling a voice through the soles of your feet. Imagine the ground speaking to you gently, the way a heartbeat speaks through a chest when you lay your head down close. The young ones especially seem to feel this. A calf standing close to its mother will sometimes press one front foot flat against the earth, lifting the other slightly, tilting its head, as if listening, as if the ground itself is telling it something important and tender and true. Close your eyes and picture it, that small gray shape still in the morning light, one foot raised, feeling a message that traveled through the soil from somewhere far away. Elephants have a structure in their feet, a fatty, cushioned pad filled with connective tissue that acts as a natural receiver for these ground vibrations. It is uniquely sensitive, this pad, capable of detecting the finest trembles. So, when a matriarch calls from half a mile away, her voice moves through the earth, and every member of her family feels it underfoot. The herd is always, in some quiet way, in contact. The matriarch is the oldest female in a herd, and she carries something remarkable, a memory that can span decades. She knows where the water holes are, even the ones that only fill after rare rains that come every 10 or 15 years. She knows the smell of drought before it arrives. She knows the safe paths across territory she walked when her own mother was alive. And she shares all of this through her voice, through those long, low, barely perceptible rumbles that move through the air and the ground and the bodies of those who love her. When researchers first began studying elephant communication in earnest in the 1980s, they were puzzled. Elephants seemed to coordinate across distances with no visible signal, no sound, no gesture, no raised trunk. And then someone thought to record sound and frequencies humans couldn't hear, and the recordings were extraordinary. The plains were full of voices, rich, complex, overlapping voices that had been there all along, quiet and constant and full of meaning, while humans stood nearby and heard only silence. Imagine all that conversation going on around us without our knowing. The world so much fuller and louder and more tender than it seemed. There is something deeply calming about this. The idea that beneath the surface of what we can perceive, life is humming along in its own beautiful, unhurried way. You might let that feeling settle into you now. The world is fuller than it looks, and most of what is happening in it is gentle. An elephant's rumble is not one fixed thing. Researchers have cataloged hundreds of distinct calls, each with its own pattern and meaning. There are contact calls. "I am here, where are you?" sent out across distance like a slow, warm pulse. There are greeting rumbles, used when members of a herd reunite after hours apart, full of what sounds, even to human ears, like unmistakable joy. There are must rumbles, the deep, rolling calls of male elephants in their seasonal cycle, that carry for extraordinary distances and can trigger a physical response in female elephants who hear them. If you're enjoying this gentle journey, feel free to leave a like. It means the world and helps more sleepy hearts find their way here. And then there are the calls that have no perfect translation, low and long and complex, exchanged between mothers and daughters who have known each other for 30 years, between old friends meeting at a waterhole, between a grandmother and a grandchild. These calls carry information, yes, but they also seem to carry something else: warmth, recognition, something that in a human language we might simply call love. Elephants feel grief. This is not a comfortable or convenient thing to say in polite scientific terms, but it is what decades of careful observation have shown. When a member of a herd dies, the others do not simply leave. They gather. They touch the body gently with their trunks, running the sensitive tip over the face, the tusks, the limbs of the one they have lost. They stand close. They are quiet. They stay like this for hours sometimes, and even days, and they rumble, low, soft, barely audible sounds that seem to be something very much like mourning. Elephants will also return to the bones of those they loved. Long after a death, a herd moving through familiar territory will stop when it reaches the place where one of its own fell. They will touch the bones. They will stand in stillness. Younger elephants who never knew the one who died will do this too, drawn by something the older ones seem to communicate through touch, through rumble, through something we don't yet fully understand. Memory lives in the herd. It is shared and tended and passed gently down. The herd on the Golden Plain this morning is beginning to move. slowly, in the warm, early light. There is no urgency. Elephants walk at a pace that suits the morning, deliberate, unhurried, each step placed with that quiet awareness that large, intelligent animals carry. Their great feet press the earth softly. Their ears, large and full of blood vessels that help regulate their body temperature, fan gently in the breeze. They are heading, without apparent discussion, in the same direction. Something has been communicated. Something was decided in the language beneath hearing. The waterhole is a wide, shallow bowl of brown water that catches the blue of the sky and holds it. The trees around it are old enough that their roots go down deeper than you'd want to guess, finding water in places the surface world doesn't know about. An elephant approaches the water slowly, her calf pressed close to her side, small enough still to walk almost beneath her belly if it needed to. She drinks in long, slow pulls, her trunk dipping and curling with practiced ease. An elephant's trunk contains over 40,000 individual muscle units. It is one of the most extraordinary structures in the animal world, capable of lifting 300 kilograms or picking up a single grape without crushing it. Right now, it is doing something simple and lovely, bringing water to a mouth that is thirsty, life reduced to its essentials. Drink, rest, be here. The calf reaches its own small trunk into the water, imitating its mother. Young elephants spend several years learning to use their trunks properly. It is a skill, not an instinct. They splash and fumble and sometimes accidentally blow water into their own faces, which results in a startled little shake of the head that, by all accounts, looks very much like surprise. Learning is slow and patient and full of small mistakes here. The herd is forgiving. The other elephants arrive in ones and twos, spreading around the waterhole's edge, finding their places. There is a social order here, understood by all, but it is not enforced with harshness. The matriarch drinks first because she always has, and because everyone simply knows this. The younger females find their spots. The calves cluster near their mothers. The whole arrangement is comfortable, familiar, settled into over years of living together. If you have a moment, do check out the Sleepy Nature playlist. There are so many quiet journeys waiting there for you whenever you need rest. Elephants have an extraordinary sense of smell, estimated to be the strongest of any land animal ever studied. With up to 2,000 distinct olfactory receptor genes, they can detect water from 12 miles away. They can smell whether a human who passed by was carrying a weapon. They can identify individual members of their herd by scent alone. Right now, at the waterhole, each elephant is breathing in a complex and detailed picture of this place and everyone in it. A world made of smell as much as sight. The afternoon light begins to warm. The elephants move more slowly now, seeking shade. Some lean against the broad trunks of trees, pressing their great gray sides against the bark with a kind of contentment that needs no translation. Others find low-hanging branches and pull them slowly, rhythmically, letting the leaves brush across their backs. Self-soothing, comfort-seeking, not so different from the things you do at the end of a long day to help yourself settle. There is a particular kind of sound that elephants make when they are very happy. It is called a rumble roar, and it happens most often during greetings, when members of a family who have been apart come back together. The sound is extraordinary, It begins low and rises, and it is accompanied by a kind of coordinated physical display. Ears spread wide, heads raised, trunks lifted or intertwined. The whole body involved in the expression of joy. Researchers who have witnessed this say it is impossible to watch without feeling moved. Joy is contagious across species lines. It always has been. Elephants greet each other with their trunks the way we might reach out a hand or open our arms. The trunk tip is extraordinarily sensitive, full of nerve endings, capable of detecting texture and temperature and chemical signals all at once. When two elephants press their trunks together or place them gently in each other's mouths, they are exchanging something intimate. Information, yes, but also something that looks very much like affection, contact, the simple, profound comfort of being known by another. Young male elephants leave their birth herds when they reach adolescence, usually between 10 and 15 years of age. This is a natural and necessary thing, but it is not without feeling. The departure is gradual, not sudden. A young male will begin spending more time at the edges of the herd, then short periods away, then longer ones, drifting toward the loose, companionable world of bachelor groups. And even then, the bonds to his birth family do not simply vanish. Adult male elephants have been observed returning to visit their mothers and sisters years after leaving. They are recognized, they are welcomed with those great rumbling cries of reunion. Time and distance do not always break what love has made. Bachelor groups have their own quiet culture. Young males learn from older ones how to navigate the world, how to manage the physical and hormonal changes of growing up, how to relate to other elephants. The older males are patient teachers mostly. They play fight with the younger ones, long, slow, pushing battles that look serious but rarely cause injury, more training than conflict. The young males need this. They are learning how to be themselves, how to be in the world, how much force to use and when to be gentle. The elders hold this knowledge and pass it forward through action and example and time. Let yourself breathe slowly now. There's nothing to rush toward. This is a place without hurry. Elephants sleep in ways that might surprise you. They can sleep standing up and often do for short periods throughout the night. A light, resting sleep, aware enough to respond to any sound of alarm. But deep sleep, the sleep of dreams, requires lying down, and elephants do dream. Their brains show the same kind of activity during sleep that indicates dreaming in humans. What do they dream of? We cannot know. But there is something quietly wonderful about imagining an elephant lying on its side in the dark savanna, the stars very bright above, dreaming of waterholes and family, and the feeling of red earth beneath ancient feet. The stars are coming out now over the plain, one by one, then all at once, the way stars do, as if they were always there and only waiting for the light to soften enough to let them be seen. The herd is settling for the night. The calves are pressed close to their mothers, tucked into the warmth of those great sides. The old matriarch stands at the edge of the group, her ears fanning slowly in the night air, listening. She is always listening. Even in sleep, some part of her remains attuned to the ground beneath her feet, to the air, to the rumbles that might travel across the dark miles from another family passing through. She is the keeper of the herd's safety, its memory, its knowledge of the world. And she holds this role not through force, but through something quieter and more enduring, through knowing, through being known. The night sounds are different from the day sounds. Crickets. Somewhere, a nightjar calling in low, rhythmic pulses. The soft tearing of grass as an elephant grazes slowly in the dark. And beneath all of it, if you had the right instruments, if you could feel sound through your feet the way an elephant does, the constant, gentle conversation, the rumbles moving through the earth. I am here. We are together. All is well. You are somewhere soft and still right now. The day has done its work and it is resting. You can rest too. Just breathe slowly the way the savanna breathes, in long, unhurried waves, like something that has all the time in the world. There is a phenomenon that researchers discovered called the let's go rumble. When a matriarch decides it is time for the herd to move on, to head toward water or better grazing or shelter, she doesn't simply walk and expect the others to follow. She calls. A specific rumble, repeated, patient. And the others respond, not immediately, not all at once, but gradually with their own rumbles, as if each is saying, yes, I hear you, yes, I'm coming. The herd moves by consensus. The decision to travel is a conversation, not a command. This is one of the things that makes elephant society so fascinating to those who study it. Power here is not absolute. The matriarch leads because she is trusted, because her knowledge has proven itself over a lifetime of good decisions. If she makes a poor choice, and occasionally they do, taking the herd toward a waterhole that has dried up, or down a path that leads nowhere useful, the herd's trust is not unconditional. They will follow, but they also remember. Leadership here is earned again and again through reliability, through care, through the accumulated evidence of a long life lived in service to others. There is something restful in this, the idea of a kind of authority that must be gentle to survive, power that is patient and earned and soft-edged. The world that elephants have built among themselves is one that values age, experience, memory, and care above all else. It is a world that has worked for millions of years. Elephants have lived on this earth for a very, very long time. Their ancestors walked alongside creatures we now only know from fossils, mammoths and mastodons and stranger things. The elephants alive today carry within them the long inheritance of all that time, the learned knowledge passed down through generations, the instincts shaped by millions of years of African sun and rain and drought and abundance. When you look at an elephant, you are looking at something ancient, something that has endured. There is great peace in that, in things that have lasted. If you're finding rest in these stories, a like or a comment truly warms this little channel's heart. Dawn is beginning, a thin, pale line along the eastern edge of the sky. The calves stir first, always, full of a morning energy that hasn't yet learned to be quiet. They nudge their mothers awake, press against them, make small sounds that are not quite rumbles yet, but are heading in that direction. The mothers respond with low, soft calls, patience, warmth. Here we are again. The matriarch is already standing, already facing into the soft morning wind. She is reading the air, the night's information carried in it, the direction of water, the traces of who else has moved through this territory while the herd slept. She is composing the day already in her mind, the way a person might lie in the soft first moments of morning and think gently about what comes next. Except her considerations are wider, older, and she is never in a hurry about them. The herd begins to move as the light grows, one by one, and then together, drawn by the matriarch's direction and by the rumbles that have been exchanged in the early quiet, the conversation that arranged the day before it began. There is a river several miles north. There is good grass along its banks, remembered from previous years. The matriarch knows the way. She always knows the way. Elephants' brains are the largest of any land animal, proportionally complex and deeply folded, with a limbic system, the emotional center, that is extraordinarily well developed. They have spindle neurons, a type of nerve cell previously thought to exist only in humans and great apes, associated with social awareness and the ability to feel empathy. The science is catching up slowly to what anyone who has spent time near elephants has always felt, that there is someone home behind those long-lashed eyes, someone thoughtful, someone feeling. You don't need to do anything right now, nothing at all. Just breathe and let the story carry you. There is a tree on the plain that the herd visits every year. It is a very old marula tree with a trunk so wide that 3 people could not join hands around it, and its branches spread in all directions like an enormous, slow gesture of welcome. The elephants know this tree. They have known it for generations. The older females knew it when they were calves, pressing against their own mother's sides in the marula's shade. Marula fruits fall in midsummer, small and golden, and elephants love them with a devotion that is almost comic in its enthusiasm. They will travel significant distances to reach a fruiting marula. They shake the branches, they pick the fallen fruits with careful trunks. They eat with visible pleasure, juice running down their chins, though calling it a chin is generous, anatomically speaking. But the pleasure is entirely clear and entirely real. Joy in small, sweet things. This is something elephants and people share without any question at all. The marula tree today has no fruit. It is the wrong season. But the herd stops anyway. They linger under its branches. An older female rests her head against the broad trunk for a moment, a gesture so quiet and so complete that it needs no interpretation. The tree is familiar. Familiarity is its own kind of comfort. We come back to the things we know and love, not because we need anything from them, but because being near them is enough. Elephants have what might be called a sense of place. They know their landscapes intimately, the locations of seasonal water holes, the paths through difficult terrain, the trees that fruit at certain times of year, the areas that flood during heavy rain. This knowledge is stored in individual memory, but it is also stored in the herd's collective knowledge, passed from older to younger elephants across years of traveling together. A young elephant, walking with its grandmother, is walking with a living map of the landscape, a map built from decades of careful attention and experience. Do visit the Sleepy Nature playlist when you have a moment. There are many more gentle stories waiting there for quiet evenings just like this one. When researchers study elephant movement over time using GPS tracking, they find something beautiful. The paths that herds take year after year are remarkably consistent. Not identical, not rigid. Elephants are too intelligent and too responsive for that. But deeply familiar. They return to the same places in the same seasons with a regularity that speaks of deep comfort in known territory. There is something in this that resonates, that you might feel somewhere in your own body's knowing. The path you've walked 1,000 times, the way home, the particular light in a familiar room. In the soft gold of late afternoon, the herd has reached the river. It is not a dramatic river, no white water, no high banks. Just a wide, slow-moving ribbon of brown water reflecting the warm sky, edged with reeds and the red-rooted trees that love water more than anything. The elephants enter it without hesitation. Water in the heat of the day is not a pleasure to be approached cautiously. It is an immediate, full-body joy. They wade in deep. Some submerge entirely. All 4 legs gone, back gone. Only the great dome of a head and the periscope of a trunk rising above the surface. Elephants are excellent swimmers. Their large bodies are surprisingly buoyant, and they move through water with an ease that looks almost graceful, those massive legs working slowly beneath the surface. They have been known to swim for miles when necessary, crossing wide rivers without apparent concern. The calves are not always graceful. A calf in water for the first few times is an uncoordinated and enthusiastic creature, going under unexpectedly, coming up spluttering, bumping into its mother's legs, being righted with patient trunk pressure from whatever adult is nearest. The adults don't rush them, don't scold, just offer the steady, calm presence of bodies that know what they are doing and trust that the young ones will find their way. Water seems to do something to elephants that it does to many creatures, ourselves included. They become playful, more relaxed. They splash each other. They roll. They make sounds that are hard to describe in any language except, perhaps, delight. An elephant playing in a river is one of the most straightforwardly joyful things the natural world offers. Large and gray and unbothered, wholly present in the cold water and the afternoon light. Not thinking about tomorrow, not remembering yesterday, just here, just this. You can feel that for a moment too. Just here, just this. The breath moving in and out, the quiet around you, just this. As the river play slows, the elephants begin the careful work of covering themselves with mud. This is not laziness or messiness. It is brilliant, practical self-care. The mud acts as sunscreen, protecting their skin from the intense African sun. It also acts as insect repellent, creating a barrier against the flies and parasites that could otherwise become a persistent irritation. And it helps regulate body temperature as it dries and cools. Elephants will throw mud over their backs with their trunks, or lie down and roll, or use their tusks to dig into the bank and bring up rich, wet clay. The result is an elephant that is a slightly different color than the one that entered the water, coated, sealed, protected. A living thing that has learned over millions of years exactly how to take care of itself in the world it lives in. The skin of an elephant is remarkable, up to 3 centimeters thick in places, and yet extraordinarily sensitive. An elephant can feel a fly landing on its back. It can detect the lightest touch of a trunk tip. This combination, great toughness and great sensitivity, seems almost like a metaphor for something, though what exactly is yours to decide? Perhaps simply that strength and softness are not opposites, that the most durable things often feel the most deeply. There is a small bird the oxpecker that frequently rides on the backs of large African mammals, including elephants. It feeds on the parasites and dead skin that accumulate there, a service to the elephant, a meal for the bird. The elephants seem largely indifferent to their small passengers, occasionally flicking an ear when the bird moves too close to a sensitive area, but generally allowing the arrangement to continue. The savanna is full of these quiet partnerships, these small economies of mutual benefit. Nobody arranged them. They simply arose over time because they worked. Leave a comment if you'd like, even just to say hello. It's always lovely to know who's resting here with us tonight. The evening comes in slowly over the river. The sky goes through its colors, pale blue deepening to orange at the horizon, orange giving way to rose, rose darkening to a purple that has no proper name. The elephants move out of the water one by one, shaking the moisture from their ears, and begin to graze on the riverside grasses, moving slowly, unhurried, in the fading warmth. An elephant eats for 16 to 18 hours a day. Not because it is greedy, but because its digestive system is not particularly efficient. It processes only about 40% of what it consumes, meaning it needs enormous quantities of food to meet its nutritional needs. In a day, an adult elephant might consume 300 pounds of vegetation, grass, leaves, bark, fruit, roots. It takes what the season offers, moving through the landscape in a way that, over long distances, also helps disperse seeds and shape the environment around it. Elephants are ecosystem engineers. Their feeding habits open up dense bush and allow grassland to develop. Their trails become paths that other animals follow. Their digging for water creates holes that smaller creatures depend on. When they travel through a landscape, they change it, not destructively, but in ways that, over time, create diversity and abundance. The world is different and richer for having elephants in it. This is simply true. The youngest calf in the herd has fallen asleep on its feet, swaying slightly, catching itself, swaying again. Its mother stands close, her great side a wall of warmth against the cooling evening air. The other adults graze around them in a loose circle, not guarding exactly, but present, attentive. The herd as a living thing, breathing together, keeping one another warm in the wide African night. The stars are very clear tonight. The Milky Way is visible as a soft white river across the sky. Not bright, not dramatic, just there, the way it has been there every night for longer than any creature on this planet can remember. The elephants are quiet now. The matriarch makes occasional low rumbles, small sounds, almost like someone murmuring in their sleep. The others respond sometimes, briefly. The conversation continues in the dark. Elephant calves nurse for up to 10 years, far longer than most mammals. For all of that time, the bond between mother and calf is the central organizing fact of the young elephant's life. The mother is comfort and warmth and food and knowledge and safety. She is the first map of the world. And the lessons learned in those years of closeness, how to read other elephants, how to move through the landscape, how to respond to threat or abundance or change, are the foundation of everything the adult elephant will become. This is one of the reasons the loss of a matriarch is so consequential for a herd. It is not just the loss of one individual. It is the loss of decades of accumulated knowledge about water holes, migration routes, seasonal patterns, other elephant families, safe territories. Herds that lose their matriarch sometimes make poor decisions for years afterward, going in wrong directions, missing water sources, unable to read the landscape with the same surety. The knowledge lived in her, and it traveled with her when she went. Knowledge held by one person or one elephant and passed forward through attention and time and love. This is how things are kept alive. This is how the world is carried from one generation to the next, not in books or recordings, but in the long, patient, embodied act of being together and paying attention. You're doing so well, resting. Let everything be slow. Let everything be soft. There is something called an elephant sanctuary in parts of the world, where elephants have been rescued from difficult circumstances. In these places, something remarkable and reliably documented happens. Elephants who arrive traumatized, withdrawn, uncertain of the world, begin to heal when they form bonds with other elephants. Not immediately. Healing is slow, but it happens. An elephant who arrived alone and afraid will, over months, begin to reach its trunk toward another elephant, gently, inquiringly. Will begin to sleep near another body for warmth. Will begin to respond to the calls of others with its own quiet rumbles. What the researchers and caretakers at these sanctuaries observe is that elephants are not just capable of connection, they need it. They are built for it. Isolation diminishes them in ways that are visible and measurable. Companionship restores them in ways that are equally visible, equally real. They are not so different from us in this, the need to be known, the healing that comes from being near others who are safe, the slow, patient work of trust rebuilt in the shelter of warmth and time. The night is very deep now. The herd breathes. The river moves nearby, slow and dark and full of the sky's reflection. Somewhere far across the plain, another herd moves through the dark, and their rumbles travel through the earth, felt perhaps by the sleeping calves through their small, sensitive feet. A thread of sound connecting lives across distance. We are here. All is well. Rest now. Let yourself sink a little deeper into wherever you are resting. The story is still here, still moving, slow as breathing, slow as the river finding its way through the dark. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. You are exactly where you are supposed to be right now, in this quiet moment. An elephant's heart weighs approximately 28 pounds, the largest heart of any land animal. It beats with a slow, measured rhythm, around 28 to 30 beats per minute. That is very slow, much slower than a human heart. You might imagine it for a moment, that great, patient heart, beating in the dark, steady and unhurried, keeping time in the wide African night. Something about that slowness is deeply calming, the pace of something that has been beating reliably for 60 years and intends to keep going. Elephants live for 60 to 70 years in the wild. Long lives, full lives, lives with enough time for deep relationships and accumulated wisdom and the slow unfolding of personality. Individual elephants have been observed to have distinct characters. One might be bold and curious, another cautious and careful, another playful, another calm. The herd contains multitudes. It always has. The research on elephant personality is relatively new, but it aligns with what experienced observers of wild elephants have known informally for decades. These are individuals. not interchangeable units of a species, but specific beings with histories and habits and preferences and fears. To learn one elephant is not to know all elephants. It is to know one elephant, which is the beginning of something, the beginning of caring about a world that turns out to be far more full of inner life than we imagined. One of the most moving documented behaviors in elephant life is what happens when a herd comes across the remains of an elephant from another family, one they have never known. They still stop, they still touch, they still stand in that quiet, gathered way that looks so much like mourning. Something is recognized in those bones that goes beyond individual relationship. Something is honored that belongs to a wider category. We are like you. You were one of us. We mark this. What this tells us about the inner life of elephants, about the scope of their emotional understanding, is something researchers are still carefully and humbly working through. The language of science moves slowly toward the things the heart knows quickly, but the behavior is documented. It is repeated. It is consistent across different herds in different places. Whatever it means, and we cannot fully know what it means to an elephant, it is real. Perhaps that is enough. Perhaps it is enough to know that somewhere in the world, right now, a group of large gray animals is standing quietly in the moonlight, touching the bones of one they never knew, because something in them, something old and wide and not fully nameable, requires this acknowledgement, requires the pause, requires the stillness. The channel is small and growing, and every like and share carries these stories further. If this helped you rest, you might pass it along to someone who needs a quiet night. The matriarch is the last to sleep. This is always the way. She stands at the edge of the resting herd as the night deepens, her great ears fanning slowly, her eyes half closed, but never quite fully. She is listening to the ground. She is reading the wind. She is holding the night the way a person holds a sleeping child, not tightly, not anxiously, but present, attending, ready. She has done this every night for 50 years. She will do it again tomorrow, and the night after, and as many nights as she is given. This is not duty that weighs on her. There is nothing in her posture of burden or weariness. It simply is what she is, the keeper, the listener, the one who holds the herd in her attention while it sleeps. In the morning, there will be more rumbles, more travel, more water and food and sun on gray skin. There will be calves splashing in shallow water and old females resting against tree trunks with an air of deep contentment. There will be the let's go rumble and the slow gathering of the herd in one direction, and miles of red earth passing under wide, patient feet. There will be the earth speaking and the elephants listening, and the long, slow conversation continuing as it has continued for longer than we can properly imagine. But that is morning. Morning is its own gift, waiting. For now, there is only this, the wide dark plain, the bright stars, the slow breathing of the herd. A heart beating at 30 beats per minute. A rumble moving through the earth, too low to hear, felt only as a faint and reassuring trembling. We are here, we are together, all is well. Sleep now, sleep. The river has grown quiet in the deepest part of the night. The water moves without urgency, carrying small reflections of stars on its surface, tiny lights traveling downstream, not in a hurry, not going anywhere important, just moving the way water moves when nothing is asking it to be anything other than itself. The herd rests on the soft bank, the damp earth cool beneath them, the air carrying the green, living smell of reeds and mud and night-blooming things whose names you don't need to know to appreciate their sweetness. There is a particular stillness that belongs only to the hours between midnight and dawn. Not the stillness of emptiness. The world is full and alive in these hours, but the stillness of everything having settled into its right place. The insects have found their rhythms. The nightjars have found theirs. The river has found its own, and the herd has found its. And even the wind has found a low, constant note it seems content to hold for a while. The matriarch breathes slowly. Her eyes are open. They often are, even when she is resting, catching the faint starlight and reflecting it back in a way that makes them seem, in the dark, like two small lanterns set low to the ground. She is not anxious. Vigilance, for her, has long since stopped feeling like tension. It is simply attention. The same quality of attention you might bring to something you love. A quiet, open willingness to notice. Elephants have 3 eyelids, 2 that work the way ours do, opening and closing from top and bottom, and a 3rd, a translucent membrane that can sweep across the eye from the inner corner, protecting it from dust and light without cutting off vision entirely. In the dry season, when the wind carries fine red dust across the plains, elephants use this 3rd lid often. Right now, in the damp cool of the riverside night, it rests. No need. Everything is clean and clear and soft. The calf nearest the matriarch is dreaming. You can tell because its legs move in small, slow twitches. Not distress, not discomfort, just the body replaying something. Perhaps the river today, the cold shock of water, and then the warmth of floating. Perhaps its mother's side, the particular smell of her skin. Perhaps just sensations, colors of feeling, the internal weather of a young life processing the day. Whatever it is, the small legs eventually grow still again, and the calf breathes deeper, and the dream, if that's what it was, moves on. The question of what elephants dream is one that science cannot yet fully answer. We know the brain is active during certain stages of sleep in ways that parallel the dreaming brain of humans and other mammals. We know that elephants, like other intelligent animals, seem to process the experiences of their days during sleep. That memory consolidates, that emotions are sorted, that the long work of understanding the world continues even when the body is still. Whether there are images, whether there are stories, whether there is the particular quality of strangeness that human dreams have, this we cannot say. But something is happening, something interior and private, and probably wonderful. Isn't there something comforting in that? In imagining all the dreaming happening in the world right now, in burrows and nests and riverbeds and high branches, in the minds of creatures large and small, each processing their own version of the day in their own private interior theater. You are part of that right now, your own mind doing its quiet nightly work, preparing you for tomorrow without requiring anything from you except that you rest. The youngest member of the herd, the calf born only 3 months ago, still unsteady on legs that seem slightly too long for its body, stirs briefly and presses its face harder into its mother's flank. She responds without fully waking, shifting her weight slightly to make more room, curling her trunk loosely in the calf's direction. A gesture so automatic it hardly seems like a gesture at all. Just the body's memory of love, doing what love does even in sleep. A mother elephant's bond with her calf is reinforced by chemistry as much as by choice. Oxytocin, the hormone associated with bonding and trust and the particular warm feeling of closeness, is present in elephant brains just as it is in human brains, and it floods the system during nursing and during the close physical contact that mother and calf maintain for years. The biology of love is ancient. It predates us by millions of years. When you feel that warm, safe, held feeling in the presence of someone you trust, you are experiencing something elephants experience too, something that was built into the architecture of mammalian life long before any of us arrived to notice it. Do leave a like if this quiet night is helping you rest. It truly helps the channel find its way to more sleepy hearts. There are stars above the river that have been shining for so long that their light left home before the first elephant ever walked the earth. And those elephants have been walking the earth for 5 million years. The light is older than all of it, older than elephants, older than mammals, older than the river itself, which carved its path through this landscape over geological time, slowly, without any awareness of the extraordinary thing it was doing. The universe makes beautiful things without knowing it is doing so, which makes the beauty no less real. Morning arrives at the river the way good things arrive, gradually, then all at once. First, a lightening at the horizon that you might mistake for imagination. Then, a softening of the dark overhead, stars becoming faint, the sky's color shifting from black to the particular deep blue that belongs only to the half hour before dawn. Then, in the east, a line of pale gold. Then, everything. The birds announce it first, a single call, high and clear, somewhere in the reeds. Then, another bird, farther off. Then, the reed beds themselves seem to wake, filling with the soft percussion of small wings and the varied calls of creatures who have been waiting all night for this exact moment. The dawn chorus at a riverside is something extraordinary, layered and complex and joyful in a way that requires no translation, even for those of us who don't speak the language. The herd stirs, the calves first, as always. Morning for a young elephant is immediate and enthusiastic, a full-body event. The older females wake more slowly, some staying on their sides for a moment longer, their great chests rising and falling with the deep, even breath of the last few seconds of genuine sleep. The matriarch has not moved from where she stood all night. She simply becomes more present, more alert, as the light fills in around her. She was always here. Now she is fully here. Elephants use the early morning for what might be called family time. Before the serious business of eating and traveling begins, there is often a period of greetings, the reunion rumbles and trunk touches that mark the transition from the private world of sleep back into the shared world of the herd. Even after a night spent sleeping only feet apart, they greet each other. Good morning, I am here, I am glad you're here. The acknowledgement matters. Connection renewed. This greeting behavior has been observed to vary in intensity depending on how long individuals have been apart. After only a night together, the greetings are warm but brief. A touch, a rumble, a moment of contact. After days of separation, The reunion is something else entirely. The rumble roar, the spread ears, the bodies pressed together. The emotion is proportional to the absence, which tells you something about what the absence feels like. An elephant's temporal lobe, the part of the brain associated with memory, is extraordinarily well developed, even relative to the brain's overall large size. This is believed to underlie the famous elephant memory, which is not merely legendary, but documented. Elephants have been observed to recognize and respond to individuals they haven't seen in decades. A researcher who spent time with a particular elephant years ago and then returned found herself approached, examined carefully with a trunk, and then apparently recognized the elephant's manner toward her, shifting into the familiar ease of someone who knows you, rather than the cautious assessment directed at a stranger. Decades. Imagine carrying someone's face in your memory for decades, and then looking up one ordinary morning and finding them standing there exactly as remembered, and feeling what? Relief, perhaps. The particular joy of something long held being validated, of the memory turning out to have been true all along. You are building memories right now, even in this near sleep. The feeling of rest, the sound of these words moving slowly through the air, the particular quality of this quiet. These things are being kept somewhere, filed gently away, available to you the next time you need to remember what rest feels like. The body learns. It keeps what it needs. Check the Sleepy Nature playlist for more of these nighttime journeys. New stories are always being added, and there's always something quiet waiting for you there. The river in early morning is a different creature than the river of the night. The light comes across it sideways, catching the surface in long bright lines, and the water that looked dark and opaque in the dark now reveals itself to be full of movement and depth. Small fish near the surface catch the light as they turn. A kingfisher, bright as a jewel, quick as a thought, darts from a low branch and is gone before you've fully seen it. The reeds bend in a breath of early morning wind, releasing droplets that catch the light as they fall. The elephants move to the water's edge to drink in the morning cool. They drink deeply, each adult taking in 12 to 15 liters per drink, up to 200 liters in a single day during the hot season. They do this with a calm efficiency that is also somehow graceful. The trunk dips, the water rises, the head tilts back, again. The simple physics of thirst and its satisfaction, carried out by one of the most remarkable structures in the natural world, in the golden light of another beginning day. The morning's travel takes the herd east, following the river for a while, before turning across open ground toward a landscape of scattered trees and low, rounded hills that are purple in the early light and will be golden by midday. The matriarch sets the pace, which is not fast. It never is. An elephant's walking speed is around 4 to 6 kilometers per hour, and this pace, steadier than it looks, given the length of each stride, can cover great distances over the course of a day without ever approaching anything that looks like hurry. There is a meditative quality to watching a herd of elephants travel. The movement is continuous but unhurried. The great gray bodies sway slightly with each step, the long trunks swinging forward and back in a loose, relaxed pendulum rhythm. The calves stay close to their mothers, matching pace, occasionally falling slightly behind and then trotting briefly to catch up. The older females walk with the settled ease of bodies that know exactly what they are capable of and are not being asked to exceed it. The ground beneath their feet is extraordinary. The savanna soil is a complex living system, not just dirt, but a web of fungi, bacteria, roots, and organisms too small to see that work together to hold moisture, break down organic matter, and cycle nutrients through the ecosystem. The roots of the grasses that the elephants walk through extend far deeper than the grass blades are tall, reaching down for water and holding the soil in place against the wind. Nothing here is as simple as it looks. The visible world rests on the invisible one, always. Elephants shape this soil world as they move through it. Their footprints, deep, round depressions in the earth, collect rainwater when the rains come, creating small temporary pools that become habitat for insects, small amphibians, and birds. The dung they leave behind is rich with partially digested seeds and nutrients, fertilizing the soil and planting new vegetation wherever they travel. A path walked by elephants over decades becomes different from the land around it, more fertile, more diverse, more alive. The elephants do not know they are doing this. It happens simply because they are here, because they live the way they live. There is a word, Ubuntu, that comes from the Bantu languages of southern Africa, often translated as, "I am because we are." The idea that a person or a being exists in and through relationship, that the self is not separate from the community it belongs to, but is constituted by it, defined by connection rather than by isolation. You could apply this word to elephants without distortion. An elephant is not fully itself alone. It becomes most fully itself in relation to others, in the herd's conversation, in the matriarch's knowledge, in the calf's attachment to its mother. I am because we are. The ground beneath their feet holds the proof. The hills are closer now, their purple deepening to brown as the sun climbs. At the base of one hill, there is a termite mound as tall as a person, a cathedral of pale earth built over decades by creatures whose individual lives last only a matter of weeks. The herd walks past it without particular interest. The one young male pauses to investigate with his trunk, touch the warm surface, then continue on. Curiosity satisfied. Elephant curiosity is a real and documented thing. They investigate new objects and situations with the same careful trunk examination that serves as their primary means of exploring the world investigated through touch, the world understood through contact. There is a whole philosophy in that, if you want one, but you don't need one right now. Right now, you just need to be here, breathing, letting the morning herd walk through your thoughts as gently as they walk through the savanna. No rush, no destination, just the long, slow pleasure of moving through the world. By mid-morning, the sun is properly warm, and the herd has found the shade of a grove of trees, not the ancient marula, but a cluster of fever trees, their distinctive yellow-green bark almost luminous in the dappled light. Fever trees grow near water, and their color is the color of something alive and photosynthesizing with great enthusiasm. The light that comes through their leaves is green gold, the color of looking up through shallow water at the sky. In this shade, the elephants do something that researchers call loafing, which is a wonderfully informal scientific term for what is essentially resting without sleeping. Standing in companionable proximity, touching occasionally, eating slowly and without urgency, watching the world with half-closed eyes. It looks like nothing, and it is not nothing. It is the herd simply existing together in the middle of the day, which is a complete and sufficient activity. The young females in the herd often gather in this loafing time and do something that might be called play, though it is sometimes hard to distinguish from affectionate squabbling. They push and lean on each other. They intertwine trunks. They move around each other in loose, exploratory patterns. This is how female elephant friendships are built and maintained. Through proximity, through contact, through the accumulated time spent simply near each other. The research shows that female elephants who spend more time in close proximity to another female, grooming, touching, loafing side by side, show lower stress hormone levels than those who are more socially isolated. Friendship, for elephants as for us, is medicine. One of the older females in the herd has a notch in her right ear, the result of some long ago encounter with a thorn thicket, healed now, but permanent. Researchers use features like this to identify individual elephants in the field, giving each one a name or a code that allows them to be tracked across years of study. This particular female has been part of a long-term research project for 30 years. In the researchers' notes, she has a name, Comfort. She earned it early on by her habit of positioning herself near younger or distressed elephants and simply staying close. 30 years of notes about Comfort, the things she has done and where she has gone, and who she has been close to, and what her life has looked like from the outside. It is a record of a life, an acknowledgement that her life is worth recording, that its details matter, that the individual within the species is as real and as worthy of attention as the species itself. Science, at its most careful and most human, doing something very close to love. A like or a comment here is such a kind thing. The channel grows slowly and lovingly, and every bit of warmth helps. In the fever tree shade, the matriarch is doing something that the researchers have documented many times but can only partially explain. She is standing very still, her trunk hanging loosely, her eyes nearly closed, her ears held out wide from her head. She stays this way for several minutes. No one disturbs her. The herd moves quietly around her, leaving a little space, as if they know, and perhaps they do, that she is engaged in something that requires stillness. Is she listening, processing, resting in a particular way? Whatever it is, when she finishes, she shakes her head once, slowly, and then walks calmly to where the young calves are gathered and stands among them with the air of having decided something. What she decided, the herd seems to understand immediately. They begin, slowly, to move. There is a dry riverbed that the herd crosses in the early afternoon. Not dry from drought, just dry from season, waiting patiently for the rains that will come in their time and fill it again. The sandy bed is pale and smooth, the kind of pale that makes you think of warm things. Bread and sand between your toes, and the inside of a shell held to the light. The elephants walk across it slowly, their feet sinking slightly into the soft surface, leaving prints that will be visible for days. A record of this crossing. Elephants have been crossing this particular dry riverbed for generations. The matriarch knows this in the particular wordless way that she knows the things she has always known, not as a thought exactly, but as a bodily certainty. The way your feet know how many steps to the kitchen in the dark. The way your hands know the weight of something you carry every day. The riverbed is familiar. The other side is familiar. This knowing lives in the body, not the mind, which is where the most reliable knowing usually lives. In the sandy bed, one of the young males finds something interesting. The shed skin of a large snake, translucent and papery, lying in a loose coil near the bank. He examines it with intense attention, touching it repeatedly with the tip of his trunk, smelling it, pushing it gently, stepping back, approaching again. The skin does not move or alarm him. It is clearly not alive, but it is new, and new things deserve investigation. The other young males gather, drawn by his attention, and soon there are 4 of them circling this discarded snake skin with the intense collaborative focus of young minds encountering something they haven't categorized yet. The matriarch watches this from the bank without concern. She has seen snakes and their skins many times. She reads the body language of the young males and understands curiosity, not alarm. She allows it, and in allowing it, she is teaching something. That the world can be investigated, that new things need not be fled from, that careful attention is usually a better response than fear. She could not put this into words. She doesn't need to. The shed skin is eventually left behind, examined, and released. As interesting things are when they have given up everything they have to give. The young males rejoin the herd and cross the remaining width of the riverbed with something that looks, though perhaps you are reading into it, like satisfaction. They found a thing. They figured out what it was. They moved on. The world is manageable. The world can be known. Does any of that feel familiar to you? The small, daily detective work of being alive. The satisfaction of understanding something that was briefly mysterious. The relief of moving on, lighter for having investigated rather than avoided. You do this every day. You have been doing it your whole life. You are very good at it. The herd rests in the early afternoon heat beneath the largest tree any of them can find, a great spreading acacia whose canopy covers a remarkable area of ground, the shade beneath it dappled and restless as the leaves move in the hot, slow wind. This is the hour when the savanna itself seems to pause. The insects hum. The heat shimmers over the open ground beyond the shade. The sky is white-blue and very high, the kind of sky that seems to be saying, this is as much sky as there is, and it is a great deal. During this mid-afternoon pause, something happens that researchers call social touching, a diffuse, gentle period of physical contact within the herd that seems to serve primarily the function of comfort and connection. An older female rests her trunk across the back of a younger one. 2 calves lean against each other and fall into the drowsy, swaying half-sleep of creatures that are warm and safe and fed. The matriarch stands near the oldest of the other females, the 2 of them close enough that their sides occasionally touch, and exchanges low rumbles that are so soft they barely disturb the air. These are the oldest members of the herd. They have known each other for 50 years. They were born in the same birth year, though not to the same mother, and they have traveled the same landscape together for 5 decades, through drought and abundance, through loss and birth, through every season that this particular corner of Africa has offered. They do not need to say anything important. They have already said everything important in 50 years of small moments accumulated into something solid and permanent. Being near each other is enough. Being near each other is, in fact, everything. 50 years of friendship. Let that settle into you for a moment. The weight and the warmth of it. The ordinary miracle of two lives running alongside each other long enough to become part of each other's landscape. As familiar as the hills, as reliable as the seasons. You may have people in your life like this, or you may be building toward them. Either way, the accumulation is happening quietly in the moments that don't seem like anything in particular. The playlist has so many quiet evenings waiting for you. Do have a browse whenever you need a gentle place to rest. An elephant's skin up close is a landscape of its own. Deep wrinkles and folds hold moisture longer than smooth skin would. The surface area of all those creases keeping the animal cooler, holding the mud that serves as sunscreen, providing texture that parasites find difficult to navigate. The gray is not one gray but many, lighter on the belly and the inner legs, darker on the back where the sun falls most heavily, sometimes tinged with the red of whatever soil the elephant has last rolled in. An elephant in the late afternoon light is a study in the beauty of gray, a color that contains all other colors when you look at it long enough. The young calf has fallen completely asleep now, lying on its side in the shade, its small sides rising and falling with a regularity that is itself deeply relaxing to observe. Its mother stands over it, not close enough to crowd, but present, a canopy of warmth above the sleeping form. She eats slowly from a low branch, taking her time, watching the calf with the peripheral awareness of mothers everywhere, not hovering, not anxious, just reliably there. In the late afternoon, when the heat has eased and the light has turned to gold, the herd begins moving again, back toward water by a route that is slightly different from the morning's path. Elephants rarely take exactly the same route twice in succession. The landscape holds too much variety, too much that is worth noticing. But their general movements across seasons are deeply patterned. The same water holes visited in the same order, the same resting places returned to, the same paths through difficult terrain used generation after generation, until they become worn into the landscape, visible from above as pale lines threading through the darker vegetation. These elephant paths are real and permanent features of many African landscapes. They follow the logic of the terrain, finding the easiest gradients, the safest crossings, the shortest routes to water, with an accuracy that sometimes surprises engineers who study them. The elephants did not design them. They simply walked and kept walking, and the earth remembered where they went. Other animals use these paths: antelope, buffalo, smaller creatures who benefit from roots through vegetation that would otherwise be impenetrable. The paths are a gift that keeps giving long after any individual elephant has walked them for the last time. The landscape holds the memory of their passage. The world is changed gently and permanently by the fact that they were here. As the herd walks in the golden light, something unexpected happens. A contact call from another direction, faint with distance, but clear enough. The matriarch stops. Her ears go wide. The whole herd stops behind her, a wave of stillness passing through them from front to back as each individual registers that the matriarch has found something worth attending to. She listens. They all listen. The call comes again, a rumble traveling through both air and earth, the particular pattern of a family greeting call. Not a threat, not alarm, something else. Recognition, perhaps. The matriarch makes a sound low in her throat, barely audible, and turns slightly. The herd turns with her. They continue walking, but the direction has shifted subtly toward the source of the sound. On a rise ahead, in the long golden light, another herd has appeared, smaller than this one, moving slowly. Two of the older females see each other at the same moment, and what happens next is the rumble roar, that great chest-filling call of recognition and joy, echoed immediately by several others in both herds. Ears spread, trunks lift. The two groups move toward each other with a speed and purpose that is quite different from their usual unhurried pace. These are what researchers call bond groups, related families that have maintained friendly associations over many years, meeting regularly at shared resources, recognizing each other across seasons and distances. The greeting that follows is extraordinary. Trunks intertwined, heads pressed together, the rumbling ongoing, bodies turning and touching and turning again. The calves of both herds regard each other with enormous curiosity. Some approaching boldly, others hanging back near their mothers, peeking around those great gray legs at the new small faces. This is worth staying awake for, just for a moment. The joy of it. The unambiguous, full-bodied joy of reunion, written in the body language of beings who have no reason to hide what they feel, and so don't. What you would feel if you saw someone you loved very much after a long time away. Elephants feel that too, in their bodies, in their rumbles, in the way they press close and don't step back. Love is not unique to us. We share it with the world. The two herds spend the evening together at the waterhole, a larger gathering now. The noise of it, the splashing, the rumbling, the calves' higher-pitched calls, filling the cooling air with a warmth that is almost visible. The oldest females of both herds stand together slightly apart, exchanging low sounds in the long, unhurried way of old friends who don't need to fill the silence, who are comfortable with it, who have been having this particular conversation for so many years that it has settled into something easy and complete. The young males from both groups have found each other and are engaged in the slow-motion pushing game of adolescent male elephants, heads lowered, pushing foreheads together, each testing the other's strength with more gentleness than it looks from a distance. This is important social learning. They are finding out where they stand, how strong they are, what they are capable of. They are also quite clearly having a wonderful time. Water and company and the last warmth of the day. This is abundance. This is what a good day looks like for an elephant. Moved through the world, eaten, drunk, rested, played, felt the sun, and ended the day in the company of those they love. Not so different, really. Not so different at all. A firefly, or what looks like one from a distance. Though this is Africa, and the light-making insects here have their own names, blinks its small, cold light near the waterhole's edge. Then another. Then a scatter of them, moving low over the water, blinking without pattern, without message, for the simple biochemical reason that this is what they do. But the effect, from where you might be standing, watching the elephants in the water and the darkening sky is of tiny lights appearing in the air like the first groundward stars of evening, the world making beauty out of biology, the world always doing this. Leave a kind comment if you'd like. Even a word is enough, and it means everything to know you're resting here. A young female elephant from the visiting herd has taken a particular interest in the youngest calf of this herd, the 3-month-old who is still learning everything. She approaches carefully, reads the mother's body language to confirm that approach is welcome, and then touches the calf gently with the tip of her trunk. The calf startles, then stills, then investigates back with its own small trunk. They stand like this for a while, these two young lives at very different stages, touching noses in the deepening dusk. The mother watches with an equanimity that is its own kind of permission. You are safe. This is safe. The world can be trusted most of the time, and this is one of those times. The two herds will not stay together past tonight. They share a landscape and a history, but they are separate groups with separate lives, and by morning they will be moving in different directions, carrying the warmth of the evening's reunion back into their individual days. This is the rhythm of bond group relationships, intense when present, maintained across absence, durable over years without requiring constant contact to remain real. Some bonds are like that. They don't need daily tending to stay strong. They simply are, underneath everything, a constant. The matriarch settles into the night's position, standing, present, listening, as the visiting herd gradually gathers itself and drifts away into the dark. Their rumbles recede slowly, becoming first faint and then, to human ears, inaudible. But the ground carries them further. The matriarch feels the farewell through her feet, long after the sound has left the air. She responds with her own low rumble, traveling in the same direction, and then is quiet. The night is very still. A half moon has risen, casting a pale, cool light across the waterhole and the surrounding plain. In this light, the elephants are silver gray, their outlines softened, their great shapes merging at the edges with the shadow and the moonlit grass. They are beautiful in the way that large, peaceful, ancient things are beautiful, not dramatically, not in the way of sunsets or storms, but quietly, durably, in the way of things that have earned their beauty through the simple fact of enduring. You might close your eyes for a moment now, if they're still open, and imagine that moonlit waterhole, the silver gray shapes, the sound of water, very quiet, the low occasional rumble, felt more than heard, the vast sky above, full of stars and the cool indifferent light of the moon. And in the middle of all of it, the herd, breathing, together, safe. Elephants have survived things that ended countless other species. Ice ages, shifting climates, the great extinctions that periodically reset the world's populations. The ancestors of the elephants alive today were already old as a lineage when the dinosaurs were still a recent memory. There is something in the elephant that has proven across deep time to be worth keeping. Some combination of intelligence and adaptability and social cohesion and that extraordinary memory that carries the accumulated knowledge of the land. The world has tried to lose elephants many times and has not managed to. They are still here, walking slowly, listening to the ground, taking care of each other. The very last part of night, the hour that belongs to neither dark nor dawn, when the sky is that deep, uncertain blue that could tip either way. The savanna holds its breath. Even the insects are quiet. Even the wind has settled. There is only the sound of breathing and the river somewhere nearby, and the barely audible shift of large bodies finding the last comfortable position before the light comes again. Elephants communicate even in this hour. A mother to her calf. A rumble so low and so soft it would be invisible on any recording, felt only by those pressed close. A grandmother to a granddaughter, or what feels like it. Some transmission of warmth and continuity from an elder life to a younger one. These calls are not asking for anything and not announcing anything. They are simply the sound of presence. I am here. We are here. All of this is still happening. An elephant can recognize its own reflection. This has been tested carefully with a large mirror placed in the wild, and the results are consistent. An elephant that sees its reflection investigates it with interest, notices when a mark has been placed on its face that is visible only in the mirror, and touches that mark on itself, demonstrating self-recognition. This is a remarkable thing. Very few species pass this test. It suggests a level of self-awareness, of understanding that there is a self distinct from the world around it, that was once thought uniquely human and is turning out to be anything but. What is it like to be an elephant that knows it is an elephant? To have that degree of self-awareness, and also to be so deeply social, so constituted by relationship, so essentially communal. Perhaps the self-awareness and the social depth are not in tension. Perhaps knowing you exist makes it possible to know more fully that others exist too. That their lives are as real as yours, that their feelings matter as yours do. This might be the beginning of empathy, and empathy, wherever it appears in the animal world, seems to lead toward the same places: care, cooperation, the capacity to be moved by the suffering or joy of another. The matriarch knows she exists. She knows the others exist. She has known some of them for her entire 50 years of life, and she knows them the way you know the most familiar things, not with effort, not with thought, but with the whole body, with something below consciousness. She knows the sound of each individual's rumble, the way you know a voice you love. She knows the smell of each one. She knows, in the particular way of long familiarity, which ones are likely to be nervous and which are calm, which calves need more watching, and which have already begun to find their sureness. She holds all of this without effort, the way a tree holds years in its rings without trying. The knowledge is her, and she is the knowledge, and both of these things are the same thing. Let yourself feel that for a moment, the deep, quiet competence of simply knowing what you know, the accumulated understanding of a life lived carefully and with attention. You have this too, your own rings, your own years, your own particular knowledge of the world and the people in it. It is worth something. It is worth a great deal. If you've made it this far into the night, do check the Sleepy Nature playlist. Every story there is made for exactly this hour, for exactly this feeling. And now, the light is coming. You can feel it before you can see it. Something in the air shifting, the dark becoming less absolute, the stars beginning their slow, daily disappearing act, one by one, and then more quickly, until the sky is a single, even pre-dawn gray that is the color of an elephant's back, and the color of still water, and the color of the moment just before everything begins again. The matriarch raises her trunk, not dramatically, just up into the air, reading what the new day's wind is carrying. Information. The landscape's morning report arriving on the breeze. Dew on grass, the cooling of stones that warmed all yesterday, the smell of the river, the smell of distance, the faint, complex messages that travel on wind and mean things to noses built to receive them. She lowers her trunk. She takes one slow, measured step forward. The herd wakes around her in waves, the calves first, and then the others, lifting their heads, shaking the night stillness from their ears, taking their own first steps of a new day. Low rumbles pass between them. Good morning, here we are again. And the herd assembles itself around the matriarch's quiet certainty, ready, unhurried, together. This is how every elephant day begins, has begun for millions of years across generations too numerous to count. The matriarch stepping forward, the herd following. The day opening around them like a hand, the world offering itself, its water and its grass and its shade and its light to creatures that have learned across the long, patient corridor of time to live in it wisely. You have traveled a long way in this quiet story, from the first pale morning on the golden plain, through river water and midday shade, through reunion and moonlight and the deep, listening hours of the night. You have walked beside the herd across this imagined landscape, feeling the ground through their feet, hearing the conversations too low for human ears, learning something about what love looks like when it has 50 years behind it and 50 more ahead. Everything you felt in this story, the warmth, the connection, the deep, steady safety of belonging to a group that knows you, you can carry that into your sleep. The elephants carry it every day, in their memory, in the pads of their feet, in the particular low rumble that means, I am here, I know you, all is well. They have been carrying it for longer than any of us can fully imagine. And they will keep carrying it across the plains and the dry riverbeds and the moonlit waterholes, long into whatever nights remain. The herd is moving now, slowly, in the first clean light of another day. Their great gray shapes in the morning mist, their feet on the earth that remembers them. The matriarch at the front, knowing the way, carrying everything forward. Close your eyes now, gently. Let the light come or not come. Let the sounds of your own world settle into the background. Let the low rumble carry through the ground from somewhere very far away, just barely felt, not quite sound, not quite silence, but something in between that the body recognizes as safe. We are here. You are here. The night has held you well. Sleep well, wherever you are.